Okay, so this this video is coming out a week late because I obviously took my week off from the end of the NFL season to the start of the XFL season. So what I have here on my phone, I have a screenshot of my total for the regular season, my total for the postseason, my total overall, and then the second part of this video, we will go over my best weeks and then my worst weeks throughout the season with picking. Now, I don't usually have, just to get into the second part of this video real quick, I don't usually have playoffs in there because I don't really count a lot. I think last year I think I did wild card because I believe I went 6-0. But you know, when you get down to like the NFC and AFC championship game, it's only 4 teams. Like, okay, well, you can only go 1-1, 0-2, or 2-0. You can't really do too much. So if you go 2-0, it's like, okay, yeah, I went undefeated for the week, but it's only 2 games. So, you know, I might cover the divisional round because I did go undefeated in that, but because I haven't recorded that part, but I probably won't. So, you know, if you don't see it, it's, you know, it's the only time you're gonna see me mention it. But I did go undefeated in the divisional round, but that's only 8 games, so it's only 4 teams to pick from. So, yeah. So other than that, we'll get right into the first part here. So the first part, you have probably seen it if you've been watching my picks for the regular season. You have probably seen this, but I went 157, 115, and 1. So that one tie was week 1 with the Texans and the Colts. There was a couple games that went into overtime. I think the Steelers and Ravens, I think, almost had one. There was a couple times it's like I could have been, you know, 3 ties or 4 ties this year. So thank God. I hate ties. Personally, I've been campaigning for this. I want them gone. I just want a team to win and a team to lose. Who cares about ties? You know, it can screw with records and whatnot too. So I'm not a big fan of ties at all. But I don't think they're ever gonna change that. It's the NFL. I don't know. I really don't know. But college doesn't have ties, so you know, we'll see. I don't think the XFL has ties or the USFL. So the NFL's the only football team with, or only football team, only football. Well, really only football with ties. Football franchise, whatever you want to call it. So this one again, because you know, as it gets down to the nitty gritty here, we get to the last teams. I don't really do a lot of videos. I kind of just edit my own videos, especially for the Super Bowl. So you probably don't see the total, but for the total for postseason, I went 9-4. So very happy about that. Again, 4-0 in the divisional round this year. And I think it was 5-1 in the wild card. And then I did not NFC AFC Championship game and Super Bowl. I went 0-3. The last 2 weeks. 2 weeks of the NFL season, I went 0-3. Hang on. There. However, obviously that. So, started out extremely hot, and then again, you get down to the nitty gritty, you get down to the last couple teams, and it's like, okay, anything can happen. Obviously, the Niners got both their QBs hurt, so maybe they would have gone on to the Super Bowl. Maybe I would have got one of 2. You know, and you know, we can talk about the refs in the in the Super Bowl and in the AFC Championship game. We can talk about that. But you know, I think the best bet would have been me going and getting that Niners correctly. If you know Brock Purdy didn't get hurt, if their backup, it was a Josh Johnson or whatever, if he didn't get hurt and get concussed. So yeah, that sucks, but I'm happy with 9-4. I think that's one of the better postseasons I've had overall in the past 3 years of doing this. So I'm can't complain. Now obviously again I went 5-0 or 6-0 or whatever it was last year in the wild card round. He went 5-1 this year. So you know, I could have been probably a little bit better, but you know, what you gonna do? You can't predict everything. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. I'm gonna go record the second part here. Again, I don't think I'm gonna add in the divisional round just because again it's 4-0. So we'll mention that here again in part 1. So we'll see you over there in part 2 when we go over best and worst weeks. Okay, so here's part 2 of the video here. So as you can see, this is the first one I have set up for week 17. There is 3 weeks that I'm going to consider a tie. Now, again, as I mentioned in part one before, I could do, and you're gonna see kind of behind the scenes here. 5-1 I could have done here. Could have gone 4-0 for divisional round two, but again, I just don't feel like adding that just because again, it's only 4 games. This one, at least this one here, it's like 6 games, so it's like, hey, like I could have got a lot worse for wild card weekend. But mainly the regular season is what I mainly count. So this one here, I put an asterisk next to this one just because I technically it's a tie with I have 2 other ones here. But this is the week. Obviously, Damar Hamlin got hurt. And we didn't play the Buffalo and Cincinnati game here in Monday Night Football. So very last game on week 17 again was obviously that game. So this is why I count it, but I have an asterisk next to it because I could have got the Bengals and I would have been 11 could have got 12-4, or I could have went 11-5. So it's just who knows. But I'm going to count this one just because, again, 11 wins, 4 losses. I did pretty well overall. I don't remember who... I don't remember who would have got wrong. Oh, yeah, New Orleans beat Philly because that's when they had the backup in. I'm guessing Miami probably won. And then... maybe Cleveland beat Washington. Again, I don't remember. I guess if I would have done more research, I could have probably told you my wins or losses. You can go back. I cover every single week. I probably should make that into a playlist. But I have every single game on my channel, all my picks from every week. We have recaps from every week, so you can go back. You can see everything I've done for picks and recaps over the past. This year, if you go deeper into my channel, you can find from years ago. So you can go find out who I got right, who I got wrong. But so that's number 1. Number 2 is this week right here. So again, 11-5, and we'll just kind of show it here. 11-5 here for week 15. So again, week 17. It could have been literally my best week, going 12-4 if Cincinnati would have won, but we're not going to count that because everything that happened that stopped literally stopped the NFL. And I think there was even a part of me that was like, what's going to happen in week 18? Are they going to push everything back a week and give some people to digest? Are we going to play the just 6 days after? There was Thursday games too, I believe. No, I'm sorry, week 18. There's no Thursday games. So they had 6 days. It was a wild time. If you go back to that, and again, that was only 2 months ago. It was a wild time. Was that the start of the year? That might have been the very start of the year. So it's crazy. But again, 11-5 here. You can just go back. You can see who I picked for my recaps. I talk about my wins and my losses, so you can go back and see who I had for week 16 here, and then again week 15, again tying it up, 11-5 here again. So overall, I'm very happy. Again, if week 17 would have played out normally, like a normal NFL season would, maybe I would only have 1. But again, I'm gonna count 3. I'm just going to count that in. Again, it's 11-4 versus 11-5, but I'm going to count that in here with it. But again, it has the asterisks. So those are my 3 best. Look at that. End of the year. 15, 16, 17, and I'll show 18 real quick because I fell off a cliff. not a super big cliff. I didn't fall off, a super big cliff, but, I started going downhill a little bit, and then again, we rebounded here in the wild card, 5-1, but then I ended terribly. So now we'll move on to my worst week, and we have to go back here a little bit, right here. 5-9, middle of the season. This would have been November, second weekend of November, I believe. No, I guess because they don't start the first weekend of September, so maybe around Thanksgiving, something like that. the week before things, so maybe middle of November, something like that. Point is, 5-9 on the week here, and again, I could not tell you. All I know, Green Bay did beat Dallas. I do remember that. Obviously, if you don't know, I'm a Packers fan, so I do remember that. Outside of that, Washington beat Philly because this was the game where they were in Philly and they lost. So yeah, so I remember those two. Arizona probably beat the Rams. Oh my God, this was Jeff Saturday's win against the Raiders. This was the week Jeff Saturday started out his NFL coaching career and beat the Raiders. Oh my God, I totally forgot that was week 10. I totally forgot that. And I picked against Jeff Saturday because I'm like, this is his first game coaching. I don't expect him to win. So, I could have been, 6-8, but I picked against him. Pittsburgh probably beat New Orleans. I know Kansas City beat Jacksonville because Jacksonville's 0-2 on the year against Kansas City. This was the game of the year. Minnesota beat Buffalo. That's right. This was game of the year right here. So, yeah, I got that one wrong. Cleveland probably beat Miami. Detroit probably beat Chicago. This was Germany. So, Tampa beat Seattle in Germany. Munich, I believe. And then, oh my God. I don't know why, but Atlanta, Carolina this year, despite them being two mid teams, they put on a show. A show! Both games were insane and crazy. Now, the second one in Carolina wasn't as good as the first one in Atlanta, but it still was a fun game. And I think, did they switch this into primetime? I don't know. They might have. I don't remember. But, I mean, you had that first game in Atlanta go down to the wire. It was absolutely insane. And again, they were playing, I think it was like 2 weeks. Let's see here. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Carolina played Cincinnati. Right here, yeah. 2 weeks apart. Not 3 weeks, 2 weeks apart. So week 8, and then they come back and start out week 10 here. So I believe Carolina won this game. But just an insane double matchup here. Rivalry matchup. So, yeah, that was my best and worst here. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. Thank you all for the support throughout the year for my picks. I know these don't get a lot of videos because I don't have the greatest setup here because I don't always have hours of time to just go, I'm going to edit a video like this and this and this, because then I won't be able to get it up every single Wednesday. Because I would have to literally record it on Monday and then just pray I can edit everything together by Wednesday to get it up. Because again, if you don't know, if you're not a YouTuber, it takes a while to edit, especially when I'm doing everything on my own. So, again, this isn't the fanciest thing in the world, but I do have it set up now where I just delete these and then I can reset it all in September and get ready for the next year. So, for now, like the video, share the video around, don't forget to subscribe, and yeah. Very good year. What did I say? 160. I just closed my thing. 166 wins, 119 losses, and 1 tie on the year. So I'm totally happy. 9-4 in the playoffs. I'm totally happy with that. So again, like, subscribe, and share. And I'm out of here. Peace.